The Feel Better station for Warrington Hospital.
This is Radio General.
Now, the Final Hooter.
It is the Final Hooter. My name's Adrian Jackson. I'm joined as always by David Parkinson as we talk rugby league.
There's no better sport to be talking about, that's for sure, Adrian. Plenty of things happening as well, isn't there?
There is, but all we're going to be doing on this show is talking about Widnes and Warrington. So for the first half of the Final Hooter, it's all about the black and whites, and in the second half, we switch to the primrose and blue. So coming up in the next half an hour, we're going to be reflecting on Widnes' last performance against the Bradford Bulls. Look ahead to that tricky cup tie against Halifax that comes their way on Sunday. We'll bring you all the news that's been happening within the Halton Stadium as well around the club, and we'll hear from Denis and Jack Owens.
You've been busy, haven't you, this week?
Always busy.
You're always busy, yes, he is. He's the voice of rugby league, and today it's the black and whites.
I don't think Ray French would thank you for that.
Come on.
He is the original voice of rugby league.
You're the apprentice voice of rugby league.
Is that what I am then? Oh, thanks. Right, before we talk about Widnes and Warrington's last performances, give us the result from round 7 of Super League. Is it round 7 we're up to?
It is round 7,
Wow.
You're right there, Adrian. Hull FC 30, Salford Red Devils 8, so no crisis meetings this week over at Hull.
No.
Hull Kingston Rovers 44, Wakefield Trinity Wildcats 6, and again, Hull Kingston Rovers fans will be a lot happier this week. London Broncos 6, Castleford Tigers 54. Thankfully, we've got a couple of competitive games to comment about as well. St Helens 14, Leeds Rhinos 10. Absolute belter of a game, that one. Belter. Wigan Warriors 22, Catalan Dragons 16, and that was a last-minute try as well for Wigan, to be honest, which tipped the game in their favour. The one that we're going to be looking at initially, Widnes Vikings 22, Bradford Bulls 18, and the one we'll be looking at in a bit more detail in the next half hour, Huddersfield Giants 14, Warrington Wolves 33.
Before we talk about Widnes against Bradford, what a performance for the Black and Whites against Hull FC to defeat them 7-0 at the KC Stadium the round before.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, the last time that they went to Hull, they got not for 70 points, didn't they? It was something like 72-10, 72-12. So to reverse that in the space of 6-7 months, it just shows the amount of effort and the amount of work that is certainly being done these days in Widnes. And you know, full credit to those players and the coaching staff as well. I know I've been a little bit critical in the past about Denis, and he's making me eat my words at the moment. So
how many words are you eating?
I know that you can't see it at the moment, but I've got a dictionary in front of me. I'm starting to add the salt liberally, and I'm going to eat my words.
I hope them words taste nice, because Widnes are going along nicely in Super League 19.
They certainly are, yeah. I mean, they've been very, very competitive. You can say that they've only lost to one of the best sides in the comp, which was Leeds, and even looking at that performance, it wasn't all doom and gloom, was it? Despite losing out 38 points to 4.
Just ran away with him in that second half, didn't it?
It did, but you know, the way that Widnes are going, then you can't bet against them at the moment, potentially pushing top 8, and I'm sure that's what everybody's been talking about. Certainly over at Widnes, they've made it no secret, have they, that they want to chase the top 8 spot this year.
Oh, well, you're saying top 8, but at the minute Widnes are in top 4. Could they stay there?
I'm not going to get carried away. This is Widnes, remember, that we're talking about. Despite all my praise, I think top 8 potentially, yes. Some of the other clubs at the moment not particularly confident in those positions. Of all of them, Huddersfield Giants, but hey, you know, let's just be said that they've got a lot of good personnel. Hull FC as well, usually flatter to deceive, but as I mentioned, no crisis meeting with them beating the Salford Red Devils. But there was some ructions for Salford, wasn't there, where they were talking about whether or not they'd be bringing extra coaching staff in. But hey, that's for another show, that's for another time.
It is. Let's talk black and white, shall we? They maintain the 100% start at the Halton Stadium, and with that victory against the Bradford Bulls, I tell you what, it's becoming a bit of a fortress this year, don't you think? It
is, yeah. And I tell you what, Kevin Brown is the man with the golden touch, isn't he?
Golden Brown.
The last time, I wonder if you're going to play that a little bit later, but hey, you know, I certainly would be. That'd be my cheesy link for the week, though, wouldn't it? That'd be that done and dusted. But you know, Brown, he's gone really, really well, hasn't he? Over at the Halton Stadium this year, he scored 2 tries in the game against Bradford Bulls. He scored 2 tries against Salford. He scored a hat-trick against London. So I think we can say that Kevin Brown loves the home comforts, doesn't he?
Certainly does like the home comforts, and is going rather well for the Black and Whites. But the game against Bradford Bulls, everyone was really saying before the game just how many points Widnes would beat the Bradford Bulls by, and when they raced into a 16-0 advantage, you're thinking maybe a big score's on the cards here, but to the credit, Bradford Bulls made more of a game of it in the second half.
You're definitely right there, Adrian. I know it's not often that we do agree on this show, but we've got to at times, haven't we? Jack Owens opened the scoring for Widnes after 14 minutes. Kevin Brown came up with his 2 tries after 25 and 35 minutes respectively. Liam Sutcliffe pulled a try back for Bradford just before half-time, 39 minutes, but when Patrick Arvan strolled over, and it was a really strange sort of finish for Arvan in the corner, where the ball just sort of trickled into the in-goal area, and he nearly overran it, didn't he, Paddy Arvan? He was that keen to get in front of it, but he got the scoring touch after 51 minutes. Tickle puts the goal over to make it 22 points to 6, and you're thinking, hey, it could be a cricket score here, to be honest, as far as the Widnes Vikings are concerned. Then Bradford had a bit of a comeback, didn't they? Elliot Keir scoring after 48 minutes, and that man Brett Carney scoring after 67 minutes. Now, for all the troubles and all the trials and tribulations that they've had over there at the Bradford Bulls, they have still got a fairly decent squad. They've got some real decent Super League players. Luke Gale kicking 3 goals from 3 attempts, and Widnes Vikings just about holding out in the end by 22 points to 18. It was a lot closer than it could have been. I'm sure that Denis Betts wasn't overly impressed with the way that his Widnes side allowed Bradford to get back into it in the second half. But hey, Widnes always do things tough, don't they?
They do it tough, but it is a win, and the message coming out of the dressing rooms after the game was it was an ugly win. But there you go, you've got to take those wins when you can get them.
Ugly wins are always better than pretty defeats, put it that way.
Well, you haven't got nice looking rugby league players anyway, so what does it matter?
I'm going to let you just sort of say, just what did you say there again? Would you just repeat it?
No.
Okay. I think he was calling rugby league players there for a second now, Adrian.
I wouldn't do that at all.
But yeah, I again, I'm agreeing with you. Good result that for Widnes, regardless of how close it was. They've won the 2 points, and as you mentioned, that keeps them hot on the heels of the leaders of the competition, doesn't it? You mentioned one of the star of the shows on Sunday. It was Jack Owens, and I caught up with him straight after the game. Jack Owens, when Widnes look back on this game, what's going to be your reflection on the match?
Yeah, I think we've grounded the game out that we should have won quite easily. The first half, we was rolling forward. We found it quite easy. The second half we made it really hard for ourselves, but Denis has said, sometimes you've got to win ugly, and they're the games you've got to be winning.
To be fair though, first half pretty comfortable.
Yeah, we felt comfortable, I think we felt a bit too comfortable, which maybe led to that second half like that. But like I said, we grinded the win out, and we can look to kick on now for the cup run, which starts next week for us. Despite
Bradford's off-field problems, they are a dangerous team. They've got a pretty decent team together, haven't they, as well?
Yeah, they've got good, exciting players, Brett Kearney, Luke Gale, Liam Sutcliffe played well, young halfback, so they have good ball players. So I think we struggled to shut that down that second half.
They seemed to have a 16-0 lead, and that seemed to set the platform, but Bradford came back second half.
Yeah, fair play to Bradford. They come back battling, but like I said, we shouldn't have been in that situation. We should have killed them off, I think.
Certainly should have a lot of character in that final 13 to hang in there and get the job done.
Yeah, we did it, but that's the key word, isn't it? Hang on. So, like you said, we've shown a lot of character, and we worked hard for each other, and that's what you get from this group of players now. If this was 2 years ago, we would have folded over and probably got beat by about 40 or 50 there. So, we're all mates, we're all working for each other, and that's the positive side of it. Got the victory,
it was ugly, it maintains your 100% start at home.
Yeah, at home I think we're building a bit of fortress now at home, and I think some teams are starting to get a bit worried of us.
Welcome return back to the action for you. How do you feel you went?
Yeah, I missed last week. I had a little niggle, so I've had a week off, but I got to play in preferred position, which is fullback. Not going to lie, I was tired at times of getting back used to the role, but no, I loved it, and getting back playing with Kevin, playing with my mate Gilly, who've not played with over the year, I really loved it.
Good energy out there. It was a good atmosphere as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, the fans are there every week, whether it's home or away lately, so we can't thank them enough, and they spurred us on and just keep turning up for us.
Vikings in the top 4. Did you expect to be here, or are you happy to be there?
Yeah, I'd definitely say we're happy to be there. We've only lost one game so far against Leeds, which, when we've watched back, we still thought it's to our own doing, our own mistakes. But definitely pleased to be in the top four and we're looking to kick on now.
Next week, League takes a break. It's all about the cup. Halifax, going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, you get some teams like Warrington, Huddersfield are playing each other. Huddersfield Saints, Warrington, Hull KR. So there's going to be some of them top teams not in the pot for the next round. So like you said, Halifax could be a toughie encounter, so we just got to stay focused, get through to the next round, and let's see if we can get a cup run going.
Hopefully they can get a cup run going, and with all those Super League clubs playing each other as well over those in the rounds, it might make the road to Wembley a little bit easier for the Vikings.
Yeah, this is why I don't agree when some people come out and say that the Challenge Cup must be seeded. I mean, what sort of ridiculous sort of comment is that? I mean, the Challenge Cup is the premier rugby league competition. We've got people all around the world who tune in to find out what goes on with the Rugby League Challenge Cup, and we get some people who said that it should be you should have it seeded. I like it when Super League clubs get drawn against each other early doors. It gives chances for clubs like Widnes to get on a major cup run. I mean, when was the last time Widnes got through to a semi-final of a cup? You were going back a few years now, aren't you?
In the Challenge Cup, I think it's about 95, 96 if I'm correct.
Yeah, so wouldn't it be great for Widnes to go on a run?
Although they did get to the quarter-final last year.
But wouldn't it be great for Widnes to get a run and to really, have a good chance of winning the competition as well, nonetheless. And interesting to note what Jack Owens was saying there about Gilmore and being able to play alongside him again, because Tom Gilmore, he's been playing in the Championship for the Crusaders club, and he's done all right, actually. The games that I've certainly seen of him, he was quite impressive. Certainly against Featherstone, and they're usually one of the yardsticks, aren't they, when clubs play against Featherstone, as to, are you good enough to be stepping up into Super League? And nice to see Tom Gilmore getting an opportunity and playing well.
Certainly Jack Owens got an opportunity last year and he's never looked back, has he?
He hasn't, no. I think on all the stats things that they send through from the Rugby League, he's the longest consecutive appearance maker at Widnes, isn't he?
Well, he was until he got injured against Hull. It's Rhys Hambry now.
It's Rhys Hambry now, right. So...
Although he never played at the weekends, so his runs come to
him. So I'm not sure
who it is.
Someone else, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bet it's someone like Phil Joseph then, isn't it?
He's certainly not missed a game for as far as I can remember.
Because I think he's done pretty well since he's walked through the doors.
No, he never played at Hull as well, so it won't be him. We'll have to get the stats out.
I'm running out. Yeah, that's where it is. When I've not had a chance to have a look at the stats, this is when I get caught out, isn't it?
Okay, then we've heard from Jack Owens about the win against Bradford Bulls. Let's hear how the coach felt the game went. Here's Denis Betts. First of all, Denis Betts, congratulations with the win. Comfortable first half, but had to really show character in the second half.
Yeah, we made hard work. We came on the second half, we were a man down, and they grew another leg. And I think that's a testament to how hard they're working and the energy that they've got, that they just keep digging in and working hard.
Over the 80 minutes, what's the pleasing aspect for you?
Our character, again, their resilience. And we tried to shut up shop a couple of times, but the score got close, but we knew we could win. And we've been in those games before and not come out to the side. I think when you see a couple of the efforts that we showed defensively, with Paddy Flynn getting back and then Kevin Brown making a big tackle on our line, then we know that we've got that kind of attitude that can get us these wins.
Racing to a 16 advantage, and like I said, first half really comfortable because Bradford didn't really offer a lot in attack.
I think it's not that they didn't offer a lot, it's just that we restricted them to some good field position. Our kicking game was good, our line speed was strong, defensively we were very, very capable in the first half. It's not that they didn't throw a lot at us, we just knew exactly what to do with what they did throw at us. And again, there's a couple of opportunities to actually be further on ahead on the board in that first half that we should have taken.
What was going through your mind in the final 13 minutes when they were throwing everything at you?
Just keep doing what we practice, defend well and stop them scoring tries. And I think everybody worked hard, and I think that's the team ethic at the moment is we need to work hard, and I think it shows through in our character. And to get those kind of wins, and sometimes you just have to win ugly. We've been in tough games before and come out the wrong side of it. I thought today, the second half, we didn't particularly play well, but what we did do is we had lots of character.
You brought Hep Cahill back. How do you think he went on his return?
Well, he was fantastic. His energy's great, his work ethic's fantastic, and I think he gave a lot to us.
Certainly did give a lot, did Hep Cahill, and that just seems to sum up the performance overall. The work ethic was fantastic.
Yeah, I think he always does, though, doesn't he, Hep? Because he's just that sort of guy that just wants to get involved and really make an effort on an effort for his team and his teammates. I do think that, he's one of Widnes's more unsung heroes, to be honest, is Hep Cahill. But you're right, there's a good work ethic amongst the Widnes squad at the moment. Just looking at the back line, it's probably one that's not fully blessed with speed, with the likes of Christine, Cameron Phelps in at the centre positions, and then if you look further wide, Paddy Flynn doesn't seem to have quite the pace that he did in the Championship now, although he looks more like a second rower these days with the way that he's been built up. But it's a very effective back line that sticks to its strengths, and certainly when you look at that pack as well, it's not to be trifled with, is it? I mean, Alex Gerrard, he's been going great guns as well. He's just a real tough nut of a forward, really hard worker, and he's really knuckled down, hasn't he, and took his Super League chance. And I'm really pleased for Gerrard, because he's one of those that was certainly and is certainly in the top 3 performers of the Widnes team every single week.
It was a good day all round, actually, in the game against Bradford, because before the main event, the under-19s defeated the under-19s, the Bulls, that is, 32-18, so it was a Widnes double.
And it's nice to see young players coming through at Widnes as well. I know they've had a little bit of a mixed start to the season, shall we say, from an under-19s point of view, where they've taken a couple of heavy beatings, but it does show that there is a couple of really decent lads coming through. I'm just thinking of the ones that I've seen so far, and I think they've got a lad called Chapel Howe, who's a back rower, who looks like he's been sat in a grow bag, the same as the likes of Adam Lawton, who's currently...
Ted Chapel Howe, his name is.
Yeah, he's a big lad, I tell you. He's one that's set for first team duty, I reckon, at Widnes over the next 18 months.
Gets tough for the under-19s this weekend, though. They're away to Wigan.
Ooh, that is always tough. Although Wigan have only had mixed results as well so far this season. I think that they're certainly not undefeated like they have been at various other points. But Wigan seem to be in a bit of a transition where they've got a lot of younger players who are starting to step up, similar to Widnes in all honesty. But yeah, you're right, it's going to be tough, but come on the Wids, I'm sure they can do it.
Come on the Wids on Sunday. The road to Wembley starts for Widnes. It's against Halifax, and they avoided the Super League. They were hoping to maybe got a home tie, but unfortunately Halifax away, and it seems to be a trip everyone's looking forward to. That's wearing black and white. Yeah,
I'm not sure whether I'd be relishing it, because Halifax seem to have struck a little bit of form in the Championship over the last couple of weeks. They beat Doncaster 48-6 at the weekend, so they've warmed up for Super League, or hosting a Super League club in fine style. I noticed a couple of tries there for Potts, who used to play at Batley, who's a real solid winger. Ross Devorty as well, remember him coming through at Hull? He's there now. Dame Manning, who had a stint with Leeds Rhinos, also scored 2 tries. You've got the likes of Scott Morrell there, of course, who played a long while at Hull Kingston Rovers. And then the likes of Tommy Saxton, who had more clubs than Tiger Woods earlier on in his career. He seems to have found a place on the wing there at Halifax. So they're not going to be the easy beats that I think a lot of people might be expecting from Widnes. They're going to have to work really hard.
Going to run into one of the former players as well, Steve Tyrer.
Yeah, and I think Tyrer over recent weeks, he's reached a couple of personal milestones himself. I think he's now scored 500 points for Halifax and 1,000 in his career. So, he's just another one of those guys, a bit like your McNannings of this world, who will go on and they'll score points. And if they get an opportunity to go for a gap and go for a try, they'll certainly give it a go.
That's on Sunday, but further down the line regarding Super League, if you're thinking of making the journey to Warrington on Good Friday, just remember tickets are available. Price at £19.50 for standing. If you want to sit down at the Halliwell Jones, it's going to be £28.50 for adults, £19.50 for concessions. And don't forget, you can get your tickets from the Vikings Superstore within the Tesco.
And it's just a couple of weeks away, that big
away,
derby game, isn't it? So I can't wait for that. I tell you, that's going to be like World War III breaking out, isn't it?
It's also £13.50 for kids for standing as well. I think Widnes fans will be going there in the thousands after last year's big effort.
Oh yeah, I mean that win last year, and the fact that they managed to do the double, to be honest, over Warrington last year, it set them up in good style, and they'll follow in the thousands, won't they?
Everyone is always hoping to get through the first round of the Challenge Cup without a hiccup. Do you think Widnes can get it done on Sunday?
I think it is going to be tough, and if they do underestimate Halifax, like I've mentioned with some of the players already, they're a handy unit and they will score points. So, this Widnes defence, this improved Widnes defence will get tested. So I think they will have too much strength, to be honest, for Halifax, but I think it's going to be a close one.
Your local hospital radio.
The Feel Better station for Warrington Hospital.
This This is Radio General. Find out more. Go to radiogeneral.co.uk.
This is
Warrington Hospital's Feel Better station.
Radio General.
Keep in touch via Twitter. Just follow at Radio General WHR.
Your Feel Better station.
Radio General. The Feel Better station for Warrington Hospital.
This is Radio General.
Now, the Final Hooter.
Oh yes, welcome back to the Final Hooter. And after talking black and whites, David, it's all about switching our colours to primrose and blue.
The crowd was a bit silent then, wasn't it? It was just getting warmed up.
Winding them up, weren't we?
Anybody would have been thinking it was half-time in that game against Huddersfield with how quiet it was.
So it would have been quiet at half-time, wasn't it? Because let's face it, it wasn't the best start to the game for Warrington Wolves, but the guys got stronger and got the game done and dusted.
I know, what a finish. You know, just brilliant, to be honest, to running 3 tries in the last 9 minutes against a team of the standing of Huddersfield, who we all know what they did last season. Although, to be fair, Huddersfield have flattered to deceive a little bit this year, haven't they? 7 games in, they've won 2, they've drawn 2, they've lost 3. So, you know, inconsistency, well, that's the only thing they're consistent at is at the moment.
Luckily that happened on Sunday, but like I said, it's all about winning the opposition, and the guys in primrose and blue went and posted a nice healthy scoreline to bounce back to winning ways after that defeat to Wigan the round before.
Yeah, good to see plenty of tries being scored as well by the Wolves. Rhys Evans opening their scoring after 34 minutes. Richie Myler going over just after half-time after 44 minutes. Ben Westwood crossing for an important try after 63 minutes. Then there were tries from Russell Ormsby and Joel Monaghan in the last 10 minutes, with Ratchford hitting 1 goal, Bridge hitting 3 from 3, and an all-important Ratchford drop goal, which just seemed to edge things back in the Wolves' favour, didn't it?
OK, coming up in this half of the Final Hooter, we're going to hear from Tony Smith and Trent Waterhouse as they look back on the game against Huddersfield and look ahead to a tough-looking trip to Hull Kingston Rovers. And I'll tell you what, it's not the most welcoming of places as Hull here for any visiting team or fans.
What are you talking about? They just opened a new stand. Is that not welcoming enough?
No.
Have you seen pictures?
It's a hostile environment.
Have you seen pictures of this new stand? They've got heating and everything there.
Heating.
They have. I believe it's got its own burger van as well. You know, the Warrington
they've splashed
fans,
out on the burger van, have they?
The Warrington fans can't wait to be, taste the local. I was going to say hostility, but that's right. They're going to face the local hostility, aren't they?
It's just where the club are putting on free coaches for all their season ticket holders to get them up there.
That's a great offer, to be honest. You know, if you're a season ticket holder with the Wolves, I hope you've got your ticket, to be honest, to go over there, because, hey, they're going to need all the support they can muster, aren't they? Because, as you mentioned, they're a vociferous lot of the Hull Kingston Rovers fans, and when things start to go the Rovers' way, then, you know, and the crowd gets right behind them, any team is going to find it difficult there at Craven Park, aren't they? By
the way, there is an offer for non-season ticket holders as well. It's going to cost you just £5. You can't even go to Manchester on the train for that.
No, that's true. That's true. I know that a couple of clubs not that far away from me are charging, you know, £8-10 to go to the likes of Halifax and the likes of Rochdale at the weekend. So, hey, that's a great deal, isn't it? If you're paying £5 for a coach seat, and then you get an afternoon of, hopefully, fantastic rugby league and a primrose and blue victory.
Well, the players, you always hear players, don't you, say it means a lot to them to have the fans there in numbers. It gives them a real boost, and when they say that, they're not joking, they actually mean it.
No, I always find as well that when you go to games and, you know, the noise is a bit heavier and a bit louder and everybody's cheering and chanting and really getting into the spirit of the game, it always seems to be a better game, doesn't it? And it always seems to get, a better sort of effort from players. They really get stuck in, and they really want to lift it, not only for themselves, but also for the fans that are around in the locality as well. And, you know, I just think that sometimes we don't talk as much, do we, about support, and I just think it's really important to acknowledge that the support that people do give to whatever rugby league club they support is just so important and helps keep them going.
Just shows you how upset or disappointed Tony Smith was with that defeat at the hands of Wigan Warriors. The fact that they would go to Huddersfield and he did ring the changes.
Yeah, he did. He made quite a few changes, didn't he? But I mean, to be honest, it was no surprise to me because they were a bit toothless, to be honest, against Wigan. So I think to bring a few players in like he did, I mean, I'm sure the last time that Rhys Evans played, he grabbed a hat-trick, or was it 4 tries down at London, and then the following game he didn't play. So he was one change in particular. Matty Russell came in, and we all know what his form was in the World Cup.
I thought it was excellent on Sunday, actually.
Very, very exciting attacking player. Very solid as well. And you know, whenever you're going to kick to him, if you're an opposition player and you do kick the ball directly at him, he's going to make you pay, because he'll beat the first defender. He'll run it a good 10 or 15 metres upfield every single time, and that really helps to get your side on the front foot when you've got a fullback that can make that sort of level of commitment and that sort of level of meterage as well.
Unfortunately, Gareth O'Brien was the man who missed out, but Ratchford and Marlis seemed to go okay on Sunday. And
to be honest, it's been a bit of a misfiring position, hasn't it, at half-back for the Wolves so far this year. I mean, I like Gareth O'Brien. I've always been a fan of his, and to be honest, in some respects, a little bit disappointed that it's not Richie Myler that's made way, because for me he's been the more inconsistent of the half-backs that have played so far. But, you know, I'm not a rugby league coach, and this is why Tony Smith gets paid the big bucks to make these decisions. Obviously it worked, and Stephen Ratchford, I think his position looks like it's going to be 6, doesn't it? But obviously they've got this huge gap to fill with the retirement of Lee Breers, to be honest, and they've not quite managed it yet. But is this a sign of things to come with a more settled half-back pairing like that? I think that, you know, the Wolves could certainly go places. But I want to give a big mention to Gene Ormsby, to be honest, because last year he found himself playing second row at Swinton.
He's a big lad, isn't he?
He's a big lad, and to be honest, that's probably where I play him as well. But he's come straight back into the Warrington side. It's meant that the likes of Chris Riley have got to go out on loan, and Kevin Penning's not even had a sniff of a Warrington jumper so far in Super League since he's re-signed. And Gene Ormsby has really stepped up to the plate, and I noticed he grabbed another try as well. So, you know, I'm a big fan of big physical wingers, and I really do like it when they're taking a lot of pressure off the forwards, which someone like Gene Ormsby obviously does.
Certainly, Tony Smith seems to like the big physical wingers, because you've got Joe Monaghan on the other side as well.
Yeah, it's like
probably the same style of play.
I was just about to say, it's like the two of them have come from the same pod with the way that they play the game. You know, not that they look alike, but just the way that they play.
I think there's a 20-year difference between them.
There probably is, yeah, but there's a big...
Alright, there may be 10.
There's a big similarity, isn't there, between the way that they play and the fact that they're both imposing presences in their area of the field. And to be honest, any kicks that go up towards their wings, I would put bets on them. Well, perhaps I shouldn't say that with the way that, you know, players are starting to get banned for putting bets on in rugby league, but if I was a betting man, I would certainly be thinking that those two wingers will come up with more than the first share of tries. I mean, we know what Joel Monaghan's capable of. He's been around for a couple of seasons here at Warrington now, but I think as well it's good that there's a settled pack starting to form. Chris Hill having a good season so far. Roy Asatazi, he's had a bit of a quiet time, but he's starting to get more into it now, and obviously Simon Griggs, I think, is the most underrated player at Warrington for me, and it's good to see him back and doing what he does best at the base of that scrum.
We mentioned the inclusion of Rhys Evans, and I suppose what raised everybody's eyebrows was the fact that he was at the expense of Ryan Atkins and not maybe Chris Bridge.
Does that not surprise you? Because to be honest, I thought Atkins was dreadful in the game against Wigan. He missed, you know, a handful of tackles, and to be honest, he seemed to drift through the game a little bit. And I've always been a little bit critical about Ryan Atkins, if I may say this, because yes, he gets involved, but he only seems to get involved when he's 20 metres away from the opposing try line, and suddenly he sparks up into action. And sometimes he doesn't do the rough and tough stuff which he's needed inside his own half to try and relieve a bit of pressure. And he's a class player, don't get me wrong, Ryan Atkins, and he will fight back from this, but I just get the feeling that, you know, you can't go out holding a player back forever and ever, and we need to see what Rhys Evans can do in a Warrington shirt, because unfortunately he seems to have played most of his rugby elsewhere in his career at the moment, doesn't he? And he needs to start getting some games under his belt for the Primrose and Blue.
Certainly it might be the kick up the backside that Ryan Atkins needs. Sorry, not Rhys Evans, but well done to Rhys Evans. He gets himself back on the scoreboard, and Warrington claimed the victory. A forward who's slowly getting back to his best rugby league as as well, is Trent Waterhouse, and I caught up with him as he reflected on that win against Huddersfield and looks forward to that tricky cup tie against Kingston Rovers. As well, Trent Waterhouse, the game against Huddersfield, wow, what a finish that was.
Yeah, it was. We were a little bit sluggish there in the first half, and Tony gives a bit of a rev up at half time, and I thought the second half we come out and played a little bit where we want to be. That's how we want to play our footy, and it was a pretty good sign for us and something we can build on.
It was difficult to go to Huddersfield. What do you make of the challenge from them?
Yeah, first half they probably are on top, but we were a bit slow, like I said, at the first half. But the second half, I thought we sort of played the game plan we wanted to play, and they started making a few errors, and we came home strong, which was good.
Was you more than happy with your contribution?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I've been happy with my form. I'm starting to get a bit better combo there with Rich and the other guys at our left side, and it's a work in progress. We're getting better each week, I think, and it's definitely a step in the right direction.
That's certainly been the message for coming out from the coaching staff. It's getting better as the games go by. Is that the consensus amongst the players as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, the back half of that game last week there was some good signs. The stuff that we wanted to be doing in attack, and there was guys pushing up, and when we play like that, we're really hard to handle. So it's something we've got to keep going and take into this week.
Unfortunately, it's not a league game this week. Is that a disappointment for you, or are you made up it is a cup game?
No, it's definitely not a disappointment. I really enjoyed the Challenge Cup. It's something different and a bit of knockout footy, and I think we always play our best footy when it's sudden death. And I think it's a great comp. We've had a bit of success there, and we really enjoyed it here.
I suppose a victory against Huddersfield will give you the confidence to go to Kingston Rovers and get the job done. Yeah,
definitely. We're definitely going in this week confident that we can play our best footy, and I think it's our best is definitely not far away.
Just looking at Kingston Rovers, what kind of challenge do you think they're going to pose?
Yeah, they're a dangerous side, especially up there at home. It's a hard place to go and play, and they'll have a big crowd behind them, and they'll be enthusiastic, and they've got a bit of attacking flair in that side, and especially defensively, we're going to have to be really on our game.
So they are going to have to be on the game against Kingston Rovers, aren't they?
They certainly are, yeah. I mean, just a look at Kingston Rovers' side that took on Wakefield last weekend, and there's some big boys in that Kingston Rovers pack. Adam Walker, well, he used to play for the Giants and literally is a giant. Mike Wayman, he's a well-respected Australian. You've got Kevin Leroy there, who used to play at Catalan and Toulouse, who's another big bloke. Jordan Cox, who is another one who's been sat in the grow bags, I think, over the course of him growing up. And Neville Costigan, a Papua New Guinea international, and a very good player to boot. And then the bench that they named last week, James Green, who's another massive player, Jason Netherton, who's long serving and really has a bit of longevity to the side, and Reece Lovegrove, who can cover both forwards and backs in equal opportunity. So tough. And they've also got Ben Cockayne, who just never gives up. So when you add those ingredients, Warrington are going to have to be on the metal at the weekend.
So they are. They've got a bit of history with Kingston Rovers in the Challenge Cup as well. Last time they were there, it took a golden point from Lee Braze to settle the matter, which was the year Warrington went on and ended the 30-odd year wait for the Challenge Cup. But a few years later, when Hockey were a championship club, Warrington lost out. It still gives Paul Cullen nightmare, so I'm sure the guys of 2014 will be hoping that they don't fall foul of what happened when Hockey were a championship club.
Yeah, that was back in 2006, wasn't it? Where, to be honest, Kingston Rovers at that particular point were a Super League club in all but name. They were full-time, they were very good, had some great players, but you mentioned it was a huge shock at the time, and it certainly was. And yeah, the tackle bags were nowhere to be seen on that day, if I remember rightly. It finished something like 40-36, I think. So we don't want to see another game like that. We want to see some tough, tight defence from Warrington to close down the half-backs. I didn't mention the Kingston Rovers half-backs before, in Travis Burns and Chris Keating, an all-Australian pairing like they've had for a number of years. And Chris Keating, he's another bit of a tricky customer, which they're going to have to watch. He scored an 80-metre try the other week. I remember reading about it. I do think that they're going to have to be really focused coming up against a side like Hull Kingston Rovers on the weekend, but I think they can do it.
Tony Smith is a shrewd coach. He knows the boys can do it. He will have them finely tuned and raring to go on Sunday. But I caught up with him earlier doors this week, and we get his reaction. And first of all, from the Huddersfield game, and how he feels the game against Hull Kingston Rovers will fare as well. First of all, Tony Smith, let's just touch base with the game against Huddersfield. Real tough game, that one, wasn't it? But you must have been pleased to have come out with the victory.
Yeah, it was. It's a tough place to go to, but they're a very good team. But I don't think either team really played to their best in that, particularly that first half. They certainly had an advantage on the scoreboard. It was much closer affair than probably what the scoreboard suggested, I felt. Neither team had really grabbed hold of the game there, and we felt that if we lifted our intensity in that second half that we could grab hold of it, and it came out that it did, scoring 29 unanswered points in the second half, and we were very comprehensive with our field position, and our point scoring improved, and our defence was much better, and it was a pretty decent performance.
So it was certainly a strong finish to the game from the Wolves, wasn't it?
Sure it was, yeah. I thought we dominated that second half, and I felt that we were getting on top in the first half, and then conceded a try sort of against the run of play, just as we felt like we were starting to get the upper hand. But that can happen. But showed some character there. Not to worry about the scoreboard and panic about it. To score 29 points against a team that's was last year's league leaders is pretty good going, and we're coming together. Our combinations were looking better as the game went on, and we've still got a bit to go in that respect, but certainly an improvement on the previous weeks.
After starting on the bench in the last few matches, Matty Russell gets a full run out. How did you feel he went?
He was terrific. Yeah, he was a real spark for us, even when we weren't quite at our best in the first half. I thought Matty was a real handful for his opponents each and every time he got the ball. And I said it plenty of times after the match. I thought he was a real spark for us, and the way that he attacked, and he fitted in really well. I think there's more to come with Matty, and we'll get to know his play better, and he's getting to know our play better. But I thought he handled it very, very well, and was one of our best on field, if not the best on field. So, looking forward to him building on that, and some of our other boys responding to what he's contributing as well.
That was a tough place to go, Huddersfield. So, was there any injuries to worry about from that game?
We're not too bad. We've got a few bumps and bruises. A couple of boys that were unable to train in the first couple of days after the game, but we've come through pretty good. I can't see anybody missing out through injury from last weekend, so I'd like to think they're all fit and healthy. But on top of that, hopefully we may have Paul Wood back in the fray, and maybe even Ryan Atkins. So we'll see how they all pan out as the week goes on. But got a lot of fit and healthy people at the moment, so whatever team we put out, it's going to be pretty strong.
How's the preparation going for the start to the road to Wembley?
Yeah, and that's all it is. It's preparation at this stage, and and it's our first round of the cup, and we understand the importance of it. That adds a bit more spice to it. You understand that you need a good performance in the cup each and every round, and so hopefully we can respond to that and go out there and perform well.
What do you make of the form of Hull Kingston Rovers? It's a bit up and down at the minute, isn't it?
The last couple of games have been very good, and they've scored some points and haven't conceded too many. So, their last couple of matches, they'll be most pleased with. I think they're a dangerous team. I thought they put up a really good show a few weeks ago on TV against Wigan as well, and they had the lead in that game for a fair amount of the game, and I think they're a very, very capable team, and it's always a difficult place to play over on their pitch. It's a bit narrow, it's a bit small, and it's got it's conditions. It's always windy, and it's very hostile. They're a very parochial crowd, so which has an influence at times. So we'll have to be good, and stand up to all those challenges.
mentioned the conditions. Does that mean there's going to be a change in tactic about how Warrington go over the 80 minutes?
We'll play to the conditions, whatever comes, certainly. But, it's what I'm suggesting there is usually a bit of a wind tunnel there, and, it goes one way and fairly strongly, and, it can make it difficult to the way that you kick the ball and, even passing of the ball, and you've got to make some adjustments. So, yeah, we'll make those adjustments, if and when needed, but hopefully... we'll go there prepared for every way, shape or form of whatever the conditions are in the team that we're playing as well.
I'm sure they will go for the fully prepared.
I like the line of questioning there. He wasn't giving too much away, was he?
Very cagey, wasn't he?
Just kind of said that they'll be ready no matter what happens, and I think that's the key, isn't it, to challenge cut rugby? You've just got to be prepared for all eventualities, and hope that you get the bounce of the ball and a couple of refereeing decisions going your way, and particularly as you mentioned, going to such a hostile environment as Hull Kingston Rovers, they're going to be wanting to win a few calls for the side as well, aren't they?
Now, Michael Monaghan might be involved in that game on Sunday if selected, but the news has come out this week that Michael has decided that this year is going to be his final year. He's decided he's going to retire.
It's a shame that. I mean, Michael Monaghan's been a fine signing for Warrington, and ever since he walked through the door, he's lifted Warrington to another level, hasn't he? I mean, just doing a quick roundup of his stats, he's played over 170 games for the Wolves.
A lot of games.
It is a lot of games, especially for an Australian as well. They're not renowned for stopping for that long, are they, at various places, to be honest, Australian players. But Warrington have really got the money's worth out of Michael Monaghan. He's been a great ambassador for the sport. He continues to work his socks off every single week, and I tell you what, with the spells that both him and Mickey Hyam have been doing together down the last few years, it's extended Mickey Hyam's career as well at top level, hasn't it?
You mentioned his record. I wonder if that'll get him into the Hall of Fame that Warrington Wolves have for former players, because they've just introduced 3 more. Jack Hamblett, I hope I said that right. Jack Hamblett, is that right? Mike Nicholas and Bob Eccles have become the latest inductees into the club's Hall of Fame. Maybe Michael Monaghan might be there in the future.
He might be there one day, might he? But isn't it great to hear about Bob Eccles going in there? Now, he was a speedy and mobile second rower at a time when there weren't many speedy and mobile second rowers knocking around, weren't they?
Just looking at his stats, quite impressive actually. 119 tries, 38 goals and 8 drop goals out of 291 games. He actually scored 37 tries in one season.
That was
Warrington.
Bob Eccles, was it?
Yeah.
37 tries in one season.
Yeah.
By me, I'm thinking only Ellery Hanley would have overtaken that during his stint late in his career at Leeds. But yeah, I mean, he's a great player, Bob Eccles. I remember him during his later spells, to be honest, when he was player coach at, I think he played for Rochdale, and I think he played for Chorley as well. So, sadly I never got to see the best of Bob Eccles, but there's a heck of I bet he's got a few good stories to tell. And as you mentioned there about Mike Nichols, great player as well.
Hard played him, wasn't he?
A real tough nut.
Now, for a few fans who don't know who Jack Hamblett is, he actually joined Warrington in 1919 and worked until 1979. Literally 60 years of the Kitman grounds. When you name it, he did it.
Wow. I mean, this is what... Wouldn't it be great if we could interview people of that ilk? I mean, who's given so much, and, they really have tried the hardest, haven't they, for Warrington in whatever capacity they've been asked to do. I just think that people like that are what rugby league clubs are built on.
It is Challenge Cup week for Warrington Wolves. Hopefully they'll go from strength to strength and get themselves in the hat for the 5th round of the Challenge Cup, and maybe this could be the year where Warrington go all the way.
Fingers and toes crossed, that's for sure. And also for Widnes, if you're of a Widnes persuasion, we'll be following the Black and Whites all the way.
We'll see you soon.